Most modern games are terrified of simplicity. They fill every corner with systems, skill trees, upgradable gadgets, detective vision, enemy markers, crafting, ability unlocks, more icons on screen than you know what to do with. And look, I get it. More content feels like more value. More systems feel like more game. And sometimes that's exactly what you want. But there's a game that came out in December 2024 that did something almost nobody does anymore. It looked at all of that and said no. No skill tree, no upgradable weapons, no marking enemies through walls, no detective vision pinging the room for you, just you, a hat, and a whip. And the result is one of the best games I've played in years. I'm talking about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I have never seen a single Indiana Jones film. Not one. Zero nostalgia. Zero attachment to the IP. I came in completely cold, and it still won me over. After the credits rolled, I had to think about why I enjoyed it so much, and I believe what made it so great is also what its biggest critics knock it for: simplicity. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a first-person adventure game developed by Machine Games and published by Bethesda. It came out December 2024 on Xbox and PC. It launched to strong reviews and genuine buzz, but then it kind of just disappeared from the conversation. It missed the Game Awards nomination window by a matter of weeks. It launched quietly, got excellent reviews, and then mostly got forgotten, which is a shame because it's genuinely great. The game puts you in the boots of Indiana Jones. Archaeologist, adventurer, gets punched a lot, across a globe-spanning story set in 1937. You're chasing a MacGuffin called the Great Circle, while the Nazis are also chasing it. You fight, you sneak, you solve puzzles, you explore, you get into more fistfights than any reasonable archaeologist should, and at no point does the game ask you to upgrade a weapon. Here's the thing about modern games. If you were pitching Indiana Jones as a game in most studios today, the conversation would probably go something like this. Okay, so we've got a whip. Can we make it upgradable? Different whip attachments? A skill tree for the whip. And Indy's a smart guy, right? Detective vision, mark enemies through walls, maybe a gadget wheel, grappling hook, smoke bomb. Oh, and obviously a crafting system, because everything has a crafting system. And none of that is necessarily wrong. A version of Indiana Jones with all of that could be a perfectly good game. But it would feel completely different to what Machine Games actually made. Because what they made feels like a blockbuster adventure. When I say blockbuster, I don't mean cinematic. I don't mean cutscene heavy or story driven or emotionally resonant. Those things are there, but that's not what I mean. I mean the feeling you get from an adventure film, Pirates of the Caribbean. The first time you watch it, the sense of momentum. One thing leads to another, leads to another. You're swept along, having fun, nothing to slow you down to open a menu. That's what this game does. And it does it because it's simple enough to get out of its own way. The fights are straightforward. You punch, you dodge, you use whatever is nearby. There's no combo system to memorize. You just fight like a person would fight. Scrappy, improvised, barely in control. The puzzles don't hold your hand. There's no detective vision pulsing the answer at you. You look at the room, you think, you figure it out, and when you do, it feels genuinely satisfying because you did it, not because the icon told you where to go. The platforming is simple, exploration is simple, the whole thing is simple. And because it's simple, it flows. One thing to the next to the next. No friction, no menu, just the game. That's incredibly hard to do. Most studios don't trust that. They worry that simple means shallow, that players will feel cheated if there isn't a skill tree to invest in. Machine Games trusted it, and they were right. So we've established what the game is and why the simplicity works. But here's the part I want to sit with for a second. Because there's a version of this argument that sounds like I'm just praising a game for being short and easy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that Machine Games made a specific creative decision to build a blockbuster adventure game and not a systems-heavy RPG, and then they committed to it completely. Every design choice serves that feeling, and that kind of focus and restraint is generally rare. Most games are afraid to be one thing. They want to be everything. They want to please everyone. Great Circle is unapologetically one thing. And if you go in knowing that you're getting a compact, focused, pure adventure, you're going to have a great time. If you go in expecting Assassin's Creed level of content, you're going to be disappointed. That's not a flaw. That's just not what this is. It's not perfect. The boss fights with the giants, there are a few of them throughout the game, are honestly a bit dull, repetitive. The fights go on slightly longer than they need to. Each time there's a moment about 2/3 into the fight where you're thinking, am I doing this wrong? Is there something I'm missing? You're probably not. It just takes a while. And just when you start to think you're missing something, they go down. It's a minor thing. Beyond that though, honestly, if you know what you're signing up for, which is a focused, compact adventure that doesn't outstay its welcome, I think most people will have a really good time with this. And the fact that I came in with zero Indiana Jones knowledge and came out genuinely wanting to watch the films tells you everything about how well Machine Games captured something special here. They made a game good enough to sell its own IP to someone who had no connection to it. That's not easy these days. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle came out at the end of 2024, and most people missed it. And if you've been putting it off because it looks simple, or because you heard it's simple or shallow, because it didn't have enough systems, enough content, enough icons on screen, I'd ask you to reconsider. Sometimes simple is the point. Sometimes the best thing a game can do is get out of your way and let you have fun. This one does that better than almost anything I've played in years.
You have any idea how old that was?